How's it going, guys? Welcome to the live stream. I am back home. Happy to be back in my office where I shoot most of my YouTube videos. So, very excited, very happy about that. Just figured I'd jump on the live stream real quick as I got some time. Yeah, I just got back in town about a day or so ago. So, ask me any questions about the trucking industry. I'll be happy to answer any of them. Luckily, through a weird chain of events, I'm no longer across the country in a dingy hotel room. I'm back at home base, back at my office, and hopefully, I can continue to have a driving job here locally where I'm out of and not clear across the country. So, yeah, happy to be back. Like I said, ask me any questions. I just want to jump on and do this live stream. I was just so happy to be back in town. Figured I'd jump on a live stream and answer any of you guys' questions about the trucking industry or being an owner operator or anything in between. Trucks to buy, trucks not to buy, jobs to work, jobs not to work. So, hopefully this lighting's better. Hopefully you guys can hear me a whole lot better. We're back. Your truck gliders, Marty. No, my trucks are not gliders, but interesting chain of events. I might be getting a glider here soon if I can find a good deal on one. But yeah, I need to start looking into gliders. My other truck's a 2008, and then my other one's a 2011. Haven't had too many problems with them, but really looking forward to getting a glider. That's a better way to go. They're just super expensive because I think they stopped allowing them after this year. You won't be able to make gliders anymore. So going forward, gliders are going to be a thing of the past. So prices are just going to keep going up and up and up. And I got to find the right truck that I like. I'd like to find a heavy spec truck, but a heavy spec truck that's a glider is not very, doesn't come across the block, doesn't come up for sale very often. A lot of them are just over the road trucks, and they have gliders in them. And a lot of them just have the 12.7, which is good for about 500 to 515 horse. I don't know how reliably you can get those up to 550 to 600 horse. So that's kind of what I want to be looking at and see if I can get one that has a 12.7 that might already have a bottom end built up on it. So I can get 550 or 600 horse out of it. I have 14 liters. I know you can get 600 out of those all day long, but I'm not too familiar with the power output potential for the 12.7s. Or I could just go with a 3406E Cat. That's another good option. Okay, Marty, let's say bells and whistles to rebuild a Caterpillar, 40,000. Yeah, are you saying that's $40,000 to rebuild a Cat? Yeah, it definitely is. It's about 30 grand if you know the guy and you get a good deal. And it's about 40 grand if you just walk in off the street and say, hey, I want to rebuild a Cat. Yeah, they're expensive, man. That's why I've shied away from them. I was told that you can't get, a lot of times I was told that parts are hard to get and that it'd be really expensive to rebuild it if I ever had to. So yeah, it's definitely pricey for sure. It's definitely not cheap. Where the Detroits are literally, you can get a Detroit 60 series rebuilt for, my mechanic. I do most of my own work myself, but my mechanic would do some of the more technical stuff, like, taking the head off the block and make sure everything is timed correctly and make sure everything is put back together in spec. With me helping him, it'd be about probably $10,000, maybe $12,000 if we ran into issues. But even if you don't have a mechanic that's willing to, let you do a lot of the work and they just do the finalized work of it, you can still get a rebuild done for 15,000 or 20,000 worst case scenario. And then, the motor's going to go for another $1 million, with Cummins and Cats, I don't know that they go that far. Marty, if I had a truck that I had Caterpillar in it and it passed away, you know me, Max Force engines, I couldn't buy. I could buy for 40,000. I put a Max Force in it, and then I'd have 10 of them. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I want to go Max Force. I mean, let's settle down with the Max Force talk. I don't know anything about Max Forces. I don't know that the greatest out there. You know, if you just take the Max Force out and put Detroit 60 series, I'm on board with that. But as far as the Max Force, I don't know if I could get on board with the Max Force, but you're right. For that price, how many of those can you get? I think I found Detroit 60 series rebuilt for about full motors that are in good working condition for about 15 grand. So you buy 2.5 of those. Michael, what's up? Got a question. I'm looking at a 06 Century Detroit 60 with 821K on the dash for 15K. Would you buy that? Well, considering I have an 08 Freightliner that's got about 850,000 miles that I was looking to sell for 15,000, I'd kind of be a hypocrite if I said no. I would just, get some history on it, make sure that it's good to go. Maybe get an oil sample done, go look at it, see how bad the oil leaks are. Make sure it has no major faults. Do your due diligence with a truck that's got that high of mileage. Ask the guy if he's ever had it rebuilt. If not, it's going to need a rebuild in the next 100 to 200,000 miles. Maybe just to be safe. So I'd factor in if the truck's good. I have an 08 Century. I had an 07 Century. I like Centuries. They do have their problem spots, but yeah. Okay, so we had the motor clean. Well, I can tell you honestly, they leak, man. They're leakers. Mine leaks down the side of the block as well, and I had it cleaned as well. The only buy it if you have $10,000. That if the truck is good enough shape that are you willing to keep? Is the truck in good enough shape that you spending $10,000 on a rebuild still makes you want the truck? That's what I would ask you. So. And I'm not selling my truck anymore. I was going to sell it for about 15,000 to 20,000, but I decided against it just because I'd rather have a paid off truck sitting there than not have one sitting there. But yeah, I would definitely look into. I would basically look at how well the rest of the truck is. And if you think $10,000 is worth the investment down the road, 10 to 15 to rebuild the motor, if you still like the truck, I'd say go for it. But Detroit's all leak, man. They all have. They always have. Mine didn't start leaking until I got to about 750, 800,000 miles, and then it just started leaking like a sieve. Are you familiar with Baldwin oil filters? Yes, I am. That's what I use on my trucks is Baldwin oil filters. Also, you said make performance heads and exhaust manifolds. Yes, they do. For the Cats or for the Detroits, Marty? Are you asking? GGJJJ, do you have $1 million? I don't think so. Unless I have it somewhere that I'm not familiar. I don't know that I'd be doing this, I don't think I'd be in the trucking business if I had $1 million. No, I don't have $1 million. Unfortunately not. Maybe someday soon I will. Maybe if I can be, get rich off YouTube, I might be able to get $1 million. Michael White, this is my first truck. I'm nervous as hell. Yeah, man. I'm with you. We all were there at one point. I was nervous as hell too. I bought an 08 Century with 650,000 miles on it, and it looked to be in pretty good shape. So yeah, so basically I don't blame you. Just make sure the truck's good, man. I mean, if you don't feel, if something don't feel right, don't force yourself into it, If something don't feel right, follow your gut. But I can tell you that you're going to have those butterflies. You're going to be nervous because it's your first truck and you're taking on that commitment. Just make sure you got some money saved up, you know. If you're going to buy that truck for 15 grand, make sure you got another 15 grand or 20 grand in the bank on the side. That would be the next thing I ask you. Or you said this is your first truck. So that means have you already purchased it, Marty? Or I'm sorry, Michael, have you already purchased a truck, or is this something you're looking into? Gigi, I made 6 figures working 5 years. That's awesome. That's good. That's an owner operator can easily do 6 figures every year for 5 years. I live on my truck. I live on my truck, company driver. Okay, cool. That's awesome. If you're okay with that. That's rough, man. If you live in your truck, though. Marty, have you heard Western Star had a DD16? Yes. Western Star is owned by Freightliner. I can't remember either. Might be the opposite way, but Freightliner owns Western Star. So yeah, basically, I have the DD15. The DD16 is the exact same motor, except for it's got 600 horsepower, or it's rated up to 600 horsepower, and it's a little bit bigger displacement, I believe, but everything else is the same. But yeah, all Freightliners and Western Stars, you can get them with a DD16. I was originally going after a DD16. I found a couple of them, but then I could just never make it work. They were wanting too much money, or they sold before I could get to them. So yeah, that's how that worked out. Marty, heavy haul. Yeah. So I have heard of those. Western Stars are usually heavy haul trucks. Western Stars are usually built with double frames, bigger horsepower. They're a lot more stronger. They're a lot more heavy duty for sure. Unless it's like the over the road Western Star, but like the vocational, the normal Western Stars are typically built a lot, more rugged. That's why I like the Coronado, because the Coronado is built on the Western Star frame. A lot of people don't know that, but the Coronado actually shares a lot of parts of the Western Star. So that's why I like Coronados, because they're like the heavy duty Freightliner, or heavy spec Freightliner, if you want to call it that. More heavy duty like a Cascadia or any of those other models. Michael White. I do. No, I haven't. I went to look at yesterday. He wants 17.9. I got him down to 15. I really want to tell him 13K. Well, don't insult him. I mean, he might tell you to go get bent, but I went to look at it yesterday. He wants 17. I got him down to 15. I mean, you already got him down to $3,000. That's pretty good. How, like, Michael, I guess I would ask you, like, how's the truck? Does it look good? Does it look clean? I mean, aside from the motor stuff, because that can all be fixed later. And when you do an in-frame on it, if you have to in the next year or two, all that oil problem will be solved. My truck leaks oil, and I just pour more oil in it. I mean, my Detroit 60 series does. It doesn't really bother me. I just spray it off, run it for another 3 or 4 months, spray it off again. Brake cleaner, you might have to open up your budget, set up a budget for brake clean. But at the end of the day, as long as it keeps on running, just keep pouring that oil in, man. But yeah, as long as the rest of the truck looks good, I wouldn't be so scared. If you drove it? Have you heard it idle? Does it idle fine? Does it shake or rattle or shimmy? Does it idle smooth? That's what I would look at. All those other things. A little bit of an oil leak, I wouldn't worry about that too much, because Detroit's always leak oil. All right, Mari, those cats come in 16 liter. Those cats come in 16 liter for heavy haul. Okay, all right. So those cats, I'm not understanding, Marty, I'm not understanding what you're saying. How much is an engine swap for a 389 Pete? An engine swap for a 389 Pete? Man, well, a rebuild's 40 grand, 30 to 40 grand. So, man, an engine swap for a brand new motor from Caterpillar. Well, I don't know. It depends on if it's a Cummins or a Cat. GGG. So, is it a Cummins or a Cat? I guess a 389 probably has a Cummins in it. Oh, a Cat, yeah. So it's probably going to be like $40,000 to rebuild it if it's a Caterpillar, and then it's going to be even more than that to just swap a motor to buy a motor that's already good. If you found a motor that is good, just an extra spare motor, it's probably gonna be about 25,000. Marty, you need to check out the Volvos. They got a 16-liter engine in them. Yeah, I don't know enough about Volvos. I steer clear of those. I've heard that they're just expensive to work on, expensive for parts. Kind of like in the German cars. They're really expensive to maintain and keep running. So I would kind of want to stay away from those. I've never heard anything good about them. I mean, I haven't really heard too much about Volvos in general. I heard they ride nice, but that's about it. Bashing them up and down dirt roads, I don't think I'd want one for that. Michael, clean as hell, new tires all the way around, got cracks in the dash, smooth idle, runs great. Well, Michael, don't hold me to this, but I mean, if it looks good, man, and it's clean and it runs good and it's smooth, and you're okay with the 15 grand, I would pull the trigger on that. As long as you've got 15 grand, like set aside, but 800,000 miles on it. If it's got some leaks and they don't bother you too much, they're not too big of leaks, because you don't know yet. You said he cleaned the motor, so you don't know if it really leaks that bad or not. And if it does, just keep on running. Just keep pouring oil in it. Mine goes through about maybe a quart of oil every month or two. Roughly, it's not too bad. So I would pull the trigger on it if you have another 15 or 20 grand sitting aside, just in case the worst comes. Michael, so what transmission is in it? Is it a 10-speed? Manual, hopefully. Those are pretty bulletproof. Daisy, what do you think the best engine is? Detroit 60 series or the old school Cat? Those are the two best. Is either Detroit 60 or a 3406E. Marty, Mack is probably the most ultimate heavy haul truck. They got some big displacement. Yeah, I've ran Macks. I actually ran a few years back. I actually ran a brand new Mack for a while. I probably first 20, 30,000 miles on a Mack. CHU 613. That's a heavy spec version. I liked it. But let's see. They got some big displacement. I mean, it's all relative. I mean, every engine, every truck manufacturer has a big motor option. If you buy a Kenworth or a Peterbilt, they have IXX 15s that got 600 horsepower. And if you buy a Freightliner Western Star, they have DD16s, which are 600 horsepower. So yeah, I mean, pick your poison. Every manufacturer is going to have their own version of a bigger motor, high horsepower truck. They just have to be ordered that way. Michael, 10-speed Eaton, is it automatic or is it manual? And then Marty, when I'm working the snot out of the Cummins, I go through a gallon of oil. A gallon of oil a week in a Cummins? Wow, man. That's crazy. Okay, all right, Michael. Manual, of course. I mean, I just gotta check, man. I can't be giving you good advice out here if you're looking at some automatic, So man, I'm kind of taking a second to think about what you told me about that truck, Michael. Let's see, 800,000 miles, 15 grand currently, 10-speed manual, brand new tires. He cleaned up the side of the motor for you. We don't know if that's bad or good. Did you ask him if it's the original turbo? That's what I would ask him. Ask him how long has it been since the turbo has been replaced on that Detroit 60, and what's the horsepower setup as well on it. That was the next thing I would ask. Marty, even Max Force has 3 different sizes. They got the big bore. Okay, that's good. Jace Francis, nice try, man. You know, I read it before I read your comment before, you know, I read it out loud. That's a good one. Nice try. Maybe if I was a little more tired, you'd get me with that one. Everybody look at Jace Francis' comment. He almost got me, but not really. That's a good one, though. You got a lot of time to come up with that, to try to, you know, figure that out. Okay, Michael. So it's got 3.5/8. Those are good highway gears if it's going to be a highway truck. 500 horse is plenty if you're going to be pulling 80,000 pounds. You can always turn that up too. You can always put a tune on that motor and get it up to 550, 600 pretty easily. The turbo. So on those, the turbo actuator goes out a lot because those have the old school turbo with the actuator on it. So a lot of times you'll think you lost the turbo, but it's just the actuator. But yeah, if it's not the original, that's good. Because on my truck, I think you go through a turbo within at least one turbo within the first 700,000 miles. So you're probably good if you got a turbo. If the turbo's been replaced, then that's probably a good thing. You're probably good to go on that. Because I've had a couple turbos I thought went out, and it was just the actuator, which is a couple $100, I think. It just actuates the boost on that turbo. So it sounds like a solid truck, man. I really don't think. I mean, just make sure you look at everything. I mean, is it a day cab sleeper? Does it have aluminum wheels or does it have steel wheels? That's the next thing I would want to know. If it's got aluminum wheels, that's even better. Because you got to think about how much money is sitting there in the truck already. If it's got new tires and it's got aluminum wheels are worth a lot of money because a lot of guys just have steel wheels. So if you got new tires and aluminum wheels, even if they're retreads, that's a few $1,000s worth of value there. How much does a team owner operator make a year? You know, it just depends. Like a team owner operator, you mean a team like a husband and wife? Like how much does a team make together, or just Alice? Sorry, man, I wasn't thinking when I was talking. Do you mean for the team together or the team separate? Like being part of the team or an entire team together? Michael, aluminum, flat top with fender for a van. That's identical to my truck. If you look at my channel, that's probably identical to my truck. Flat top, aluminum wheels. Yeah, man, I think it's a good deal, at least for a starter truck. Now, Michael, do you have like at least between $10,000 and $20,000 set aside right now, just in case the truck has some funny problem and you gotta go out of pocket? Okay, that'll do. I mean, that's a little bit less than I would, you know, that's a little bit less than what I would suggest, but it's still, if you get the truck for 15, then, you know, that's a pretty good deal. Farron's, I think that's the name of it. Yeah, I get what you mean. Gear, I bought a 2017 truck came from Crate Carrier. It had a turbo replace and new EGR cooler. I'm happy with the truck. Bought it from Select Trucks. Select Trucks looks like they have decent trucks in their inventory. I've never dealt with them or never bought anything from them, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, Crete Carrier. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I mean, as long as it runs good, that's the goal, is to buy a truck that runs good and you're good to go. Alan Ellis, like a team husband and wife, owner operator. Well, a single owner operator can do $150 to $200 a year average. So depending on if you get along with your team member, which is your wife, girlfriend, whatever, whoever it may be, you can double that. I mean, you could probably make about 300,000 to 300. You probably make about 300 to $350,000 a year if you guys are running nonstop. Now, obviously, if you are husband and wife, and I understand that, if you're in like pretty cool areas and you want to dip off and go look at something, or you're in a cool area and you want to go be tourists or whatever, then you'll probably make a little bit less. But I'd say as a team, you probably make sorry guys, my dog started crying. So basically as a team, I say you can make about 300,000 pretty easily together, depending on what you're hauling. They also put a new DPF on it. That's good. Yeah, if you bought a truck and they did a new EGR cooler, DPF, that's a good deal. Alan Ellis, nice. That's my goal. Those are good numbers. Yeah, they are good numbers. I mean, you probably go on your own and still make probably 150 to 200, but yeah, no problem, man. You're welcome. It all depends on how hard you want to run too. Like if you and your wife or whoever is team driving with you, if you guys are motivated, then you can make a lot of money. But if you guys just want to work hard and then take some time off, then it's a little bit less, but it's still a good living. Lola J, hi. All right. Thank you for the thumbs up, guys. As I think let's make sure I answer all these questions. Don't want to miss anybody's question. Well, I'm still a small channel. I'm happy that I can actually answer all your guys' questions, and they come in at just the right time where I can keep on top of them. We're happy to be growing on the channel, but here soon it's gonna be harder and harder to answer, questions on the live stream. Let's see. All right, looks like I'm caught up. Ed Minicar, I'm leasing on to a flatbed company and hiring a driver to drive for me 3 weeks out of the month. That's an idea yearly number I should have in mind if running hard 3 weeks out of the month. Let's see here. Let's see. Edmund, I'm just trying to figure out exactly what you're asking here. So, leasing on to a flatbed company and hiring a driver to drive for me 3 weeks out of the month. What's an idea yearly number I should have in mind if running hard 3 weeks out of the month? Are you talking about what you'll make profit? Oh, yearly gross. Well, the truck should make, you should be able to make $5,000 gross at least a week. And you're only gonna work 3 weeks out of the month. So that's $15,000 a month gross. And then, times that by 10 months, that's 150 grand. So basically you're looking at roughly, I don't know, man. I mean, it's kind of hard because I don't know what you're paying the driver as far as net, but let's see that. That's roughly anywhere from 150,000 to 180,000 gross a year is what you'll make off of that truck. Why 3 weeks out of the month? So okay, yeah. So the driver can have home time. I got you. And then yearly gross. Marty, when you say heavy haul, how much weight for everything? When you say heavy, how much weight for everything? Marty, well, I don't know how to answer your question there, but heavy haul would be like a truck that's got 46,000 pound rears and 13 to 14, even to 20,000 pound fronts. So that means that you're hauling way over 80,000 pounds. You're hauling 90,000 to 120,000 pounds all together, truck and trailer loaded. So basically, I haul. That's what I do. Is I do heavy haul stuff, tankers. So I'm usually upwards at about 100,000 pounds, going up to 110,000 pounds, depending on what my load is and whatnot. Edmund, so 0.30 to 0.35% off each load. I guess I don't understand what you're asking there. And then Marty said 90K net. Yeah, you should be able to make 90K net if you're replying to Edmund Carter. But he's going to hire a driver. So, you got to factor into that. He won't be making 90K net if you hire a driver, which I think I think you've been commenting. I've been replying to some of your comments, Edmund. I think you were the one that was asking me about how much you'd make putting a driver in truck and having them drive it, and you just kind of being the investor sitting on the sideline. Edmund, if you're still here, I think you were asking me a question about, do you have to have a CDL to finance a truck? And as I was looking at some other trucks recently, and I actually noticed a lot of the ads are saying you don't have to have a CDL. But the catch there is, I don't know, because I have to have insurance. A lot of the trucks, like, they might not require you to have a CDL, but then in order for you to take it off the lot, you have to have insurance on it. And then in order to get the insurance, you might have to have a CDL. So there might be a way around that, but yeah. And basically, as I was trying to explain to you, that it's not as much profit as you think. I actually am in the middle of editing a video that basically breaks down how much profit. So a lot of guys have been asking me, how much can I make off of an additional driver if I put them in a truck? And yeah, that's right. You had to buy your truck cash. I remember that. So yeah, I have a video coming out. I'm gonna post it probably not tonight, probably tomorrow afternoon. And basically it's gonna go over the profit and then the gross versus the net, how much profit you'll make off of a truck every week. And my numbers are going to be on the low end because I'm not going to over exaggerate numbers, because you always got to be expected that, you may not be rolling as much or running as hard as you want to be. But yeah, so that video is coming out real quick, real soon. I've actually a lot of numbers, a lot of slides to that. So that's been a few hours of editing that. So that's going to come out soon, which is going to be like, how much money does an owner operator make by adding on an additional truck? And a little bit of a spoiler alert, it may not be as much as you think it is going to be, unfortunately. I wish it was more. I had trucks and company drivers, and that's kind of why I haven't got back into it. I've kind of just settled back to me, myself, and I. I've got a couple trucks still. I still go back and forth about putting a driver in a couple of them. I'm not really sure. But yeah, because I just make so much more money on my own doing it, where I don't have to pay a driver's salary. I take care of the truck. I don't damage the truck. The driver's going to damage the truck because it's not theirs. So they're not going to care. So basically, at the end of the day, you definitely will make more just driving the truck, you being the driver. But given that you don't have a CDL, I understand that. But yeah, you can still make some money because you're not going to have, you're not going to have a truck payment. If you bought the truck cash, and if it's a good truck, then you just make a decent amount of money. But it may not be as not much as you want it to be. Michael, if my memory serves me correct, you don't have to have a CDL, but your interest would be much higher as it's considered an investor loan. Yeah, that could be true too. I just saw some ads that said you don't have to have a CDL. And when I bought my truck, that's the first thing they asked for is your CDL. And then it wasn't so much the loan side, it was the insurance side. So they made me put insurance on the truck before I came and picked it up. So I couldn't even leave with the truck out of their lot until I proved I had insurance for it. I'm going to get my authority once I get some real life experience. Yeah, that's a good idea. Lease on to somebody, get your feet wet, get to learn the game and the way things work, learn the lay of the land, and then start working on starting to make some relationships with some of the carriers or the shippers, and then you might be able to actually set up a contract with yourself. Just being, you might find a shipper that has a product they need to take from point A to point B, and might be able to get your own contract with them. With one truck, it's going to be hard, but I've seen it work before. Or if you find the right loads, you're always the one getting on the phone and securing those loads for your driver, and also your driver do the same thing. Yeah, it's crazy because a lot of it's about building relationships and just knowing all the companies that are out there too. Like in my industry, it's a little bit about relationships, but it's more about like knowing who's who and what's what. Because like if we get slow on work, knowing what other carriers are out there to lease onto and who they are and what they haul and who they haul for is a big part of our business. It's just knowing the lay of the land. And when you go into a newer area, you don't know anything. So you just got to get your feet wet and get over there and then see who else is over there hauling and what companies are there around. I might have to shave my beard for the next contract I'm going to be getting potentially. That's going to suck. Nobody's going to be able to recognize me. All right, Evan. So yeah, you're in the process of learning how to broker freight. Yeah, if you can knock off the middleman, that's always the best thing you can do is to get the middleman out of the way if that's possible. We unfortunately, with what I do, I lease on to companies and they haul directly for the oil company, so there's no like getting rid of the middleman because you gotta have all your own insurance and MSAs and huge liability policies for that. Same with the construction world too. It's hard to get a direct contract with a huge construction company when they already have trucking companies that you can lease onto. But yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes for you. It's a lot of headaches coming your way, but that's part of business. That's the only reason why I've shied away from hiring on drivers, at least to so far. I did have drivers before, and then I got rid of them, and I just went back to me, myself, and I. And I always get tempted because I did enjoy, running guys and managing everything, but just a lot of stress. That phone doesn't stop ringing. That's what's kind of stopped me from doing it. But I love the hustle of it for sure. The hustle and bustle of, turning out trucks and getting trucks lined up and getting drivers is definitely a thrill, and it keeps you busy. But I also drove my own truck still too. Maybe next time if I decide to do it, I won't be the guy driving the truck. I'll just be managing it. All right. The company I'm leasing on to deal with construction equipment and supplies. The name of the company is JRC Trans. Yeah. Okay. I don't know who they are, but if they deal with construction equipment, that's good industry right now. Construction booming. It's booming, and it's gonna probably stay booming for a while. So construction equipment should be a pretty good good thing going. A couple buddies of mine that haul flatbed, that's what they do. They haul a lot of a lot of tractors, a lot of bobcats, stuff like that, a lot of little or construction equipment. Because you want to get into some of the bigger stuff, you'll need a low boy for that, and that's going to require probably overweight loads and a lot more permits, a lot more headaches, and all that stuff. But if you're leasing onto a company, they probably handle all that for you, so you don't have to worry about that too much, So you'd probably be good there. Awesome. Thank you guys for the thumbs up. Got 6 thumbs up. That's great. Yeah, I love it. Turnout's been great for this. I appreciate all you guys being here. And don't hesitate to ask me any questions about being curious about the trucking industry, becoming an owner-operator. I'm just happy to be back home. I've been out of town working out east for like 2 months. That was a big mess. It didn't really work out the way I want it to be. I'll have to make a video about that as soon as I get paid for that contractor all the way. Yeah, that was a joke. I went clear across the country chasing a job, and it just did not work out that well. Still made a little bit of money, but man, it was more of a pain than I think it was worth. Mazi Omash, again, I just want to thank you so much for your time. Your shared knowledge is making a huge difference on us out there. Thanks. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, man. I love hearing that because that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you guys out the best I can. And if I don't know something, I'll be honest and say, hey, I'm not too sure on that, but I'm here to help you guys out. Maybe help you guys from making some of the mistakes that I made when I got started. Because honestly, there was nobody mentoring me or even telling me what's the right way or wrong way. I just jumped into it feet first, and I got burned a couple of times. I definitely made some expensive mistakes, but made it out on top. I ended up going parting ways with one of my companies. I still have my other company, so but at the end of the day, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I've made enough mistakes to learn from where I can help other guys from making the same mistakes that I did, or at least point them in the right direction. Because a lot of it's just pointing you guys in the right direction. If I point you in the right direction, you can kind of figure out your own path. It's all about just getting in that right direction. That's kind of all the help that a lot of people need. If they're already motivated, they just need to be pointed the right direction. Edmund, you're welcome, man. As always, feel free, to comment on any of my videos. I'll do my best to try to, reply back to them. Or this is a last minute live stream, guys. I usually do these on Thursdays, but I just got back into town yesterday, so figured I'd do one today. What is your IFTA to say you're getting miles per gallon? Marty, what do you mean by that? What does my IFTA say? You're getting miles per gallon? I guess, are you saying what does What is my if to show miles per gallon by the time I factor it all out? It shows 4.5 to 5 roughly. They like it to show 4.5. They like to show between 4 and 6, I think, is what they like it to show at the end of the day. But yeah, I think that's what you meant. Mine is showed about 4.5, I think, to 5 miles a gallon. Steel Curtain, my authority becomes active in 6 days, but I don't have a trailer. What would you recommend? Are you currently leased on to somebody? Are you currently making good money doing what you're doing? If that's the case, keep doing that. Your authority is not going to go anywhere as long as you keep filing on it. Save up the money and get yourself a trailer if that's what you need to do to basically work underneath your own authority. Yeah, so I would keep working, doing what you're doing, and then save the money up and get your own trailer, and then start running under your own authority. You don't always have to have your own trailer run under an authority. I hauled for a company that I had to have my own authority in DOT, but I used their trailers, and they didn't charge for that because that's just how the contract worked. So that might be a way to go on that end. Okay, so you're power only. Okay. That's what I am. Yeah, I guess what I would do is I would get a trailer if it's going to make you more money. Um, and if you don't have the means to get the trailer right now, just keep doing what you're doing, making money, save it up, because your authority's not going nowhere. As long as you keep filing the right paperwork on it and keep it active, it isn't going anywhere. And by the way, how long did that take? Was it 30 days? Steel Curtain. So let me know how long it took you from the date you filed your MCS 90 to, I guess, now. How long did it take to get your authority active? I'm just curious because it was 4 or 5 years ago since I had my own authority or got my own authority. I just have to reactivate it if I were to use it again. All right. So you apply in October? That's good, man. So about a month then. That sounds about right. I think mine took about 30 days. But I think they gave me some type of temporary thing that I could use. But yeah, that's not bad at all. Got some dogs underneath my feet here. Trying not to hit them with my chair. So I'll probably be on for another 15 minutes or so. If you guys keep pouring in, ask questions, I'm going to stay as long as you guys keep asking the questions for me to, be useful and keep answering them. But yeah, I'd say in the next 10 or 15 minutes, I'll start winding down. Got my sweet tea here. Yeah, hopefully I didn't miss any of your questions. Kind of looking back at some of the comments. If I missed one of your guys' questions, just re-comment it or repost it, and I'll circle back around to it. As far as I know, I don't think I missed any of your questions. Let's see here. I wonder what our record is for the most people on a live stream. I think it's 17 people, maybe even 20 people. We've got 11 or so. I'd like it to get up to like 20 or 30 people on the live stream. That'd be awesome. If we get 20 or 30 people in here at a time. Then Marty, how many miles you drive in a week? I do roughly, let's see, if I'm doing 5 days, I do about 200 to 300 miles a day. So that comes out to be 1,500 miles a week. Let's see, 250 times, if I'm working 5 days a week, that's 1,250 miles. If I'm doing 6 days a week, then that's about 1,500 miles a week. But that's on like a higher week with like a lot heavier runs or a lot more work. But typically, I would say probably about 1,200 miles a week is about average for me. 1,000 to 1,500 range. And you only do 900 miles a week? That's pretty low. I mean, there's weeks I only do that too. There's weeks I only drive 200 miles a day, and then 5 days a week. That's only 1,000. So, steel curtain. The part that giving me a headache is the IRP part. I'm in North Carolina. Those forms are confusing. Yeah, man. IRP is a little bit confusing, but once you got it set up and you got a profile, it's a lot easier. And there are companies out there too. Like I had a DOT compliance and safety person that I use, third party. So they did a lot of that on like my behalf. So when I first started my DOT and authority, I went through like a third party remote company on the internet, and that cost me a lot of money. And I didn't feel like I learned anything. They kind of did everything, and they kind of did things a little bit weird. And then I got a local person that I had found from other drivers. They no longer in the business, or I wouldn't really. But yeah, if you find someone local to you that does a lot of DOT compliance, they'll do that for you and charge you like just a fee, and that'll take a lot of headache off of you. Well, at least it did with me. Because I had multiple trucks and multiple drivers, so there's no way in heck I could keep on top of that myself, and I was driving myself as well. But if you're the only one driving, then it probably won't be too big of a deal. If it's just for you and you're driving, that'd probably be a good thing. Let's see. I've been working on 1099 job. I just got a 2019 Freightliner, so it's not plated. I am going through IDA. That's great. 2019, man. Dang, you're starting off new. I haven't had anything newer than 2000. Let's see, 2012. 2012 is the newest truck I got. Man, the first truck I started off with was a 2008 in 2014, I think. So, dang, man, that's a nice new truck to be starting out with. So, what's your rate through OOIDA? They were very hard to get on. Every time I try going through them, something falls through. They tell me I don't have enough experience, or they tell me that they can't insure me, or I don't know, everything, or they just don't get back to me. I've tried going through them a few times, and every time I try, it just never really pans out. But I've heard good things about them. I don't know. I have like 9 or 10 years of experience. I guess maybe that's not enough for them. I think at one time they told me I had to have 10 or more years experience. I'm like, I had like 8 or 9 at the time, so I guess that wasn't enough for them. Yeah, so I just made a video about the plates and how expensive what plates cost. So get ready for that. I hope you're ready. Plates are gonna be $2,000 or $3,000 for that truck, probably. Manatee. I want to have a fat bowl of mac and cheese. Yeah, man. That sounds pretty good. I might go heat me up one of those. Now you said that. Steel current. Well, I paid $900 for the paperwork, including all the thing, but my insurance was quoted at 18,000. Progressive. Progressive was 26,000. Holy crap, man! Dang. I guess that's good, but man, 18,000. That sounds about right, though. I mean, it's not cheap. 18,000 divided by 12. So that's $1,500 a month. Steel current, how much did you have to put up, like, up front? Because when I did my authority, they ran my credit, and then that determined how much I had to put up front to get my insurance. So what I've been talking to a lot of people is about is let's see here, guys. Hold on, give me 1 second. Says someone's at my door. All right, so just a car driving by. We're good. All right, sorry about that. So, anyways, my dog just went running downstairs. Uh, basically, if you have, yeah, I was kind of curious on how much they made you put up front for the insurance, because when I went through Progressive, it wasn't 26,000. They quoted me, I think it was like 15,000 for the year, and I had to put 10% down on that. So it might have been 10 or 25% I had to prepay for the year's worth of insurance. So I'm curious as to if you had to prepay. Let's see. Edmund, my plates are going to be close to 1,700. I mean, yeah, I remember you commented that. Yeah, that's not bad, man. 1,700 is not bad. That's why I paid for my 2008, but my 2011, because it's a lot heavier, it was just $2,400. That's because it's a heavy spec truck, and whatever. I mean, it's because that's what they wanted to charge me. That's something we can't even control. That's what kind of sucks about our industry, is we can't control. Whatever they want to charge is what they're going to get, because then you're just not going to get plates. All right. So, okay, yeah, so that makes sense. So if you've been driving for 15 years, as I think they told me that I had to have 10 years of experience to get on with them. So, yeah, yes, about 3,000. Okay. That seems about right. They make you put, what would that? That'd be 20% down. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Yep. So 20% down seems about right. I checked with my city's county clerk, and he said if you want a fictitious business name, you have to publish it in a newspaper. Is it true? Jezra. Hi, I checked my city's county clerk, and he said if you want a fictitious business name, you have to publish it in the newspaper. Is it true? I haven't heard about that. Basically, there's websites for each state has their own website to basically search for a business name and then establish it. And then to get your FEIN number, you've got to register it with the federal. with the federal government. Okay, so I want to make a truck company. How do I do it? Well, basically, um, the best way the easiest way how I did it is I went to Wells Fargo or any of my banks. I went to the business whoever does the business development. I can't remember the exact title of this lady, but it was something that had to do with business development or business accounts. I went to her and she helped me create the name under the state and then get my FEIN number under the federal government. But then after that, I used my accountants to do it because it's not that hard. If you know, you can probably call some accountants too. Just call some CPAs that are certified. They don't have to be certified to do that, but I would recommend they're certified and ask them how much they would charge you to, you know, get an LLC started or start a company name or put a company name, see if it's available. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Secretary of State. You're right. Yeah. So basically, you go to Secretary of State, and then Cara, say hi. You want to say hi? Come here. Hey, big girl. Look. Hey. I know. I know. Doing a live stream here. Cara, look. Look. All right. All right. So contact your Secretary of State, pay a fee. Yep. That could work, but you don't have to contact them. You can go online. This can all be done online. You have to contact anybody, but a accountant or CPA or your local bank that has a business development person will know how to do this. I mean, I've done it with 2 or 3 different businesses. I'm shocked I don't know how to do it myself. I just haven't done it. I just have always had them do it. So yeah. But yeah, it's pretty confusing at first. It's a little overwhelming, but once you've done it a time or two, it gets a lot easier after you've done it a couple times. Guys, just looking over these comments, make sure I didn't miss any. If I miss one of your comments, just repost it, or if it with a question. Sometimes they get skipped. All right, guys. Got 14 thumbs up. I appreciate that. Does anybody have any more questions for me? Or just wants to comment something? Okay, so just Raj, so after I go to the bank and do all that you said, then I can buy my truck and start work. So file with the Secretary of State, get your business, then get your FEIN number, and they're going to want you to open up a business bank account. So you're going to want to open up a business bank account, either with that bank or with the bank that you use, because they're going to use that FEIN number to open up the account under your business name. And then after that, yeah, you can go and get a truck and start, or actually, I would start looking for work, start looking for places that need trucks. And then after that, yeah, you can go buy your truck and then go hire on, lease on to somebody. Because when you fill out the application to lease on to somebody, they're going to want your truck information. They're going to want basically your 2290, your registration, cab card, plates, and they're going to want your bank account information for direct deposit so they know how to pay you. And then they might want they might want that Secretary of State or FEIN number just to know that you're legit. And yeah, you can start working. Um, and then to buy your truck, they're going to ask you for your proof of income. So they're going to ask you for your last couple of years of taxes or your current your current most recent pay stubs to buy your first truck. And there's first time home buyers, so that's really easy. It's not as hard as you may think to get your first truck. All right, Steel Current. I haven't used my truck once. Do I still have to file a 22 now to satisfy the requirements for my plates? Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the pay to play tax. Yeah, they'll make you get your 2290 to get your plates. That's usually the first thing that they request. And there's even some companies out there that will make you prove that you have a 2290 as well, as if the IRP wasn't enough to haggle you. Sometimes some of the contractors will too. So yes, they're just trying to cover their own butt, which I guess makes sense in today's society. Everybody's trying to get one over on somebody, so they want to make sure they cross all their T's and dot all their I's. All right. So I'm gonna start winding this down the next few minutes, guys. I appreciate all you guys coming and joining me for this and asking whatever questions you have. Steel current. So no, man. Hey, that's why I'm here. I'm here. I'm here to answer your questions that at least that I can answer. I'm here to answer the questions that at least I know I can answer. So no problem with that. Okay, so on laden weight, is that the weight of the bobtail? Yes, that's that's like your curb weight essentially, which should be around 20,000 pounds, anywhere from 18 to 22,000 pounds, unless you got that 2009 Century is super light. It was only like 18,000 pounds or 17,000 pounds. It's super light. Okay. Sorry, guys. My stupid doorbell Sensor keeps on going off. And all it is people driving by. Yeah, so when they ask gross, is that with loaded trailer? Yeah, so well that's gonna be your gross is just gonna be like 80,000 pounds. Or you know what? Give me 1 second, let me look. Because I just redid a couple of my trucks, so I'll tell you. I'll give you the real world answers right now. Just give me a second. I'm just logging on to my RP right now. Okay. Yeah, so unladen weight is going to be your basically your curb weight. The gross weight is going to be the gross weight of your vehicle of your truck, I believe. So like what it's rated for, which mine's 26,000. Let me look at another one here. Let me see here. That might not be accurate actually now that I'm telling you that. Let's see. Cab card. So I'm noticing that my gross weight is changing on some of my, like this one of my gross weights is 52,000. The other one says 26,000. So honestly, I think it just depends on who's helping you file it is what they put down there. So let's see here. All right. So man, so the gross weight is how much weight your tractor can hold. So basically, on one of my cab cars, they put 52,000 pounds, which means 40,000 pound rears and 12,000 pound fronts. That gives you 52,000. And then they did how much what rating my truck was, which was 26,000. So I now that I'm looking at that, and that's why I want and look because I remember the inconsistency of mine when I was doing mine. It felt like one lady I was on the phone with, she was helping me out with it. I asked, what should I put? She said, oh, just put this. And I put that and it was fine. So trying to see. Yeah, so I would put 52,000 or yeah, I would just do 52,000. That has nothing to do with what it's going to cost anyways. The unladen weight is what they go off of. Well, multiple different things they go off of, but that's one of them. All right. So yeah, not including trailer. Yeah, you're not including the trailer on that. That's correct. Just right. Can you make a separate video explaining how to create a truck company, plates, and everything for a beginner? Yes. Yeah, I could probably do that. I basically just need to do a screen share of the Colorado Secretary of State, finding a business name that isn't taken, and then going on the federal website and getting your FEIN number. Let's see. Okay, cool. See, this stuff is confusing. Yeah, it is, man. It is because what makes it the most confusing is I've had 5 trucks at one point, and I guarantee you all of them said something different. And then it's kind of like, hit or miss. The same form that has to be a certain way done, it can have different information on it and still be fine. I feel like sometimes your state and your IRP, they just put whatever they want, and as long as they approve it, anything goes. All right, Rocky Perez. What do you think about the N14 red top? I like them. I've driven a couple of them that were hopped up on some juice, and they're pretty nasty. They're pretty powerful trucks. But versus the Detroit 60 though, I don't know. I mean, I'd have to go with the Detroit 60 series because that's just what that's kind of what I represent as the Detroit 60. That's what I have had. That's all I've had is Detroits. Um, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think they're pretty well matched as far as power, reliability, cost of ownership. I still think the Detroit 60 is cheaper. Um, and I've gotten a lot of power out of Detroit 60 series. Steel current here in Cali, and their rules is not information with the other states. Good luck. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah, it's definitely, it's just like when you go to your vehicle registered, and then you get up there and they said, "Oh, hey, we need this," and you're like, "Oh, crap, I don't have that." Like, "Oh, we need proof insurance," or just something like that. It's the same thing with this stuff. Is you know, when you go to the up to the desk or wherever you're going to get something insured or get something financed or whatnot, it's always like, "Hey, do you have this?" So after you've done it for so many times, you kind of are fully prepared for what they're going to ask you for and what they're going to want from you. And it's just the first time is pretty frustrating because you'll forget two or three times things and waste a bunch of your time. Like I have to go down where I have to go down to is in Denver, and that's an hour and 15 minutes away from where I am. And then you add traffic and basically after you add traffic, then that could be an hour and a half, if not more. So I've made plenty of trips down to Denver, and then they tell me, "Oh, we need this." I'm like, "Dang it!" I leave empty-handed, and I have to go back the next day. So yeah, it's definitely I can feel your pain right now. But now, I kind of know exactly what they're going to want. So I very rarely have had to leave empty-handed after the first or second truck. I think it's been a few years, knock on wood, my desk here, that I don't have to leave empty-handed anytime soon. With the 1099 job, I have been driving a 2020 Coronado with a Detroit 60. So you've been driving a glider? That's pretty sweet. What did you Steel Curtain, your last message got restricted? I don't know why that is. But type me back your last message, I guess. It restricted you. I'm not sure what it restricted you for. Ugh. Been a long day. Hopefully this setup is better than the dingy hotel. I'm just happy to be back home and be back in my office slash studio where I film all my videos at. All right, Steel Curtain. Yeah, man, they just blocked your last message. That one, that was a joke. That's crazy. I wonder why they blocked it. Yeah, exactly. I get what you're saying. I know it's crazy. And they ask for like the weirdest things too, and it doesn't make any sense. Sometimes you're just like, really? You guys don't need this? Oh, yeah, we do. Oh, the biggest one is I think they asked me for a lease agreement. So when you lease onto a carrier, you sign a contract or a lease agreement, lease contract or contract. And one time they asked for that. I was like, what do you mean? Why do you guys need this? So that was unexpected. But when you put the carrier lease into when they're responsible for the DOT and the safety, I guess that makes a little bit of sense. But that was kind of last time I got caught off guard was when they asked me for that. And luckily I just had it with me, so that wasn't too big of an issue. Kind of got through that. But yeah, that video is going to be going up tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. I'm trying it may or may not go up because the outcome is I'm trying to work the numbers. Because I got not as good of an outcome as I thought I would have. For how much money do owner operators make to add a driver or trucking companies make? And so I'm gonna kind of run the numbers again, make sure I didn't forget anything. And I'm gonna be posting that video up tomorrow. If unless something happens, I get busy. Yeah, Steel Curtain, no problem. I'm happy to help. Uh, Not doing much else on a Friday night, so you know, I don't mind being here and answering questions. I try to do these every week, usually on Wednesdays or Thursdays. So this is a day late, but I guess better late than never. So, all right, guys, for all of you that are on here and were on here before, um, I will basically try to get back on here next week. And yeah, Steel Curtain, there isn't a whole lot of IRP step by step. Maybe I'll make a video on that, how to do all this and all that, to basically set up your IRP account. It doesn't end there. The hardest part is once you have your IRP set up and then you got to like add another truck or renew your plates. That's where it gets pretty difficult. But yeah, all right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining me on this live stream. I was happy to answer any of your questions and whatnot. And I'll try to see if I could do another one next week. I would say roughly Thursday or yeah, I'll probably be on Thursday. And then hopefully some things would have happened so we can see the outcome of the trucking industry and at least in my industry in particular, how things are going to go. Hopefully they're going to go well, but I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you later.